first is obviously fixing our bureaucracy. I'm actually personally more positive on this than many people. I think the culture in bureaucracy is, at least at the upper echelons, has genuinely changed. The problem now is that culture has to seep through. Everybody loves to have long conversations about trying to fix UPSC and all of that, and I have strong views on that, as you know. But really, that they are no more than 3-4% of the top of the heap. Okay. The bulk of the 95% of the bureaucracy is somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And that is really what needs to be fixed. And I'm not just, this is not about dumping blame on the lower bureaucracy. The lower bureaucracy also needs attention. It needs to be cleaned up. There's large amounts of it leaderless, sometimes dispirited. And those are environments that create all the corruption and inefficiency everybody complains about. But we need to pay attention to them, create careers, create ways of energizing it that we need to do. I mean, what's the point of blaming a tehsildar if you haven't told him what he's supposed to be doing? He's just sitting there doing whatever he is doing because he's doing it because that's what the momentum is. So we need to begin to pay attention to these things. I mean, the municipal bodies, for example. We need good leadership to go to municipal bodies.
What does that really mean? Where does this?
So that's a longer conversation.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that this point is now finally understood by the bureaucracy itself. Okay. Earlier, when I joined the government, the general mood in the bureaucracy was, we are doing a good job, who are you? But today, I think the bureaucracy has begun to internalize the fact that change is inevitable. And I think I am more hopeful of the bureaucracy. The upper echelons of the bureaucracy, I think, are genuinely beginning to change. Now this has to be done at the lower bureaucracy, at the state level, municipal level. But even there, I don't think anybody is arguing that it doesn't need to be changed. So I think that's one big area. Wonderful. The bureaucracy is one big area, and in specifically the municipal administration part of it. The second big area, of which I have so far not seen any real internal rethinking, is the judiciary. And I think this is in some ways the single biggest constraint to India's growth. It is now more behind the times than the bureaucracy. It needs huge change. And I'm not convinced that the legal system, and I'm not only going to blame the judiciary as in the judges, there's a whole ecosystem. And in fact, many cases, it's the upper echelons of the lawyers and the senior advocates, bar councils, etc., that are actually stopping progress.
Okay.
So that entire ecosystem needs to get out of this sort of self-congratulatory tone that they are doing a good job. They aren't. And I think people need to speak up, and there has to be a public debate about the fact that they are really letting down the side now. And every time I raise even minor issues, you will see a massive pushback because this entire ecosystem is very convinced that it's doing a good job. They'll criticize at the edges, but serious criticism of the judicial system internally does not exist. It's a very self-serving, self-feeding system today.
Yeah, and you're saying that in the context of the collegium system, or
no, it's the whole ecosystem. It's a whole ecosystem that is very self-congratulatory, and they'll spend a lot of time congratulating each other about how wonderful they are doing because one case they've solved beautifully or whatever. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But the point is, there has to be a public debate about it. And there has, but I think that you see greater criticism of it outside, but inside the system, I'm afraid there's very little criticism of the judiciary. As I said, the legal system, not just the judiciary. Actually, in some ways, the senior advocates, the whole system of sort of medieval guilds that they have all created, that has to be unwound. We need to understand tourism in what it is. It is about the experience. We unfortunately think it's about some monument or something, and not understand it's about the wider experience. In the end, you must feel happy and joyful from the experience of that tourism, whatever that kind of tourism it is. It should be a good experience, right? We, on the other hand, try to do it totally differently. For example, met somebody from tourism from UP a few years ago, not now, a few years ago, when the Agra expressways was built. And that person was very excited. This is fantastic. great for tourism to see the Taj, because now you can go in the morning and come back in the evening. And I was just appalled. I have nothing against having a good highway to get to the Taj, but you have completely misunderstood what the experience is. If he is going in the morning and coming back, what tourism has happened? Nothing. He paid some 500 rupees maybe to enter the thing and came back.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact, I want that person to go there. I want that person to spend a night or two paying for all the services there, which will create jobs, paying the taxes, having a nice drink, whatever. Whatever is paid highest taxes, he should be encouraged to do.
Correct.
Right? And also what creates the highest amount of activity in
So then
Agra.
what you mean is that the whole city then needs to...
Yeah, you have to, so the purpose is not to have purpose is not to have a fast getaway from Agra, but to stay in Agra and enjoy the experience. So you have to clean the city, you have to create hotels, etc. Maybe across the river, you have to create something so that you can see the Taj. After all, going inside the Taj is not where I'm earning money. I'm getting some 500 rupees from it. It costs more money to sit on the other side of the Taj and have a beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I need to clean the river. Why not have gondolas going back and forth? I'm just creating random things out of my head. But I'm telling you that is the experience that we sell. And yet, when we try to tell tourism, what are we trying to do? Nearest possible have some, brutalist architecture, ugly thing, overlooking the thing, get there fast and come out. No. In many, many places, you'll see there's a beautiful waterfall and some state tourism corporation has built some PWD looking building and has destroyed the whole look of the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, we'll have a lake somewhere in some city. We build a new city. We'll build a lake and we'll build a marine drive kind of thing right next to it. Why? Let people walk along the thing. That is in fact the experience.
Yeah.
Not driving past it. That's the fastest. So we do not understand that it's about the experience. And it can be inconvenient also, but it can be a joyful thing. So you can have a windy road going to that place. It's fine. If it's an enjoyable, clean road with nice things to see, people will enjoy the experience. That's what tourism is, which we do not understand.
Yeah.
We understand it in an almost industrial efficiency way. And then, therefore building a cheap PWD department, ugly, brutalist building right in front of a beautiful waterfall is somehow okay. I mean, go to Cherrapunji, you've got a new NID there. It's a design school, yeah? Built with the most ugly possible architecture, which is not even conducive to that place. At least if it had some nice roofs, it would look like something related to a place that rains heavily. It's actually brutalist square PWD buildings. Why?
Terrible. What needs to change?
It's a mindset that we do not, we've lost the sense of aesthetics, the loss of fun. We try to do this in the sort of Soviet kind of joyless kind of way.
I mean, is this also to do with I'm sorry to get into a little bit of detail, is this a lot to do with how the government offers contracts, L1s and all of that?
Maybe, it is, yes, but it doesn't derive from L1. It derives from a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And it comes from, therefore, that's what I said, we have to think of ourselves as a civilization. It's not about building that building there.
Correct.
It's not about the experience. It's about having some pride in that thing.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody is thinking of this as a government contract. It is not about the government contract. It's about creating something worthwhile in a place that you're proud of. It requires a certain level of pride, therefore, in what you're doing.
Yeah.
After all, nothing in the general contracting rules, GFR rules, says that you have to build an ugly building there. The L1 comes from a lack of pride.
Yeah.
Let me be very clear. L1 is blamed repeatedly, but L1 happens because of a lack of pride. If the officials who are trying to do whatever it is they are trying to do and wanted to do something better than L1, there is full freedom there, by the way, to do it.
Yeah.
After all, the PWD department only built Victoria Terminus. And it was the PWD department that built North Block, South Block, Rashtrapati Bhavan. So they could do it in the British period.
Yeah.
Why can't they do it now?
So
Because the British had a certain level of pride. They knew at some point they would have to leave, and we would remember them. In fact, they say so in one of the, we go to the Jaipur column, somewhere they say that, at some point we want that, the Indians will remember our rule in a positive sense. Wow. So they say it, they are very conscious of this. Whereas when we do it, we are not conscious of we're just trying to do it. So therefore, what do? You will go to an Indian building, you will see some politician who had nothing to do with inaugurated it.
Correct.
But it's never the names of the engineers.
Yes.
Who was the person who thought of doing it? Their names are not written.
So in some sense, the new parliament is that iconic.
Yes, in a sense it is a break, right? For the first time we know who designed it. It's Bimal Patel.
Yes.
Just like Lutyens. So, whether we like it or not, we can have a debate.
Also the grandness of it.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yes. So, in fact, this is a very good place to tell you an interesting story. The only building till this new parliament was built, the only public building of some grandeur that was built in India after independence is the Vidhan Sauda building in Karnataka. Okay. Bangalore. That is the only one. I cannot think of any building of some grandeur that was built after independence. There's some ugly buildings built in Chandigarh that we are told are beautiful, but please go and see the secretariat. It's ugly rubbish. The only building of some stature built was Vidhan Sauda building in Bangalore. The person who built it was in fact ironically investigated and persecuted for building that building. Okay. Why? Because that's a mindset. He was asked, why did you spend more? He was asked why he didn't do L1. He spent only a tiny bit more than was necessary and built something really beautiful that really stood the test of time. And yet he was investigated and questioned about why he built it. Whereas nobody questioned the ugliness of Chandigarh State Secretariat, which is literally one of the ugliest buildings ever built.
How do we change this specific thing?
No, it's a matter of pride in yourselves as a people. So we imported some Gora who built some fascist-looking building. You'd only have to go and stand in front of the secretariat in Chandigarh to realize how astonishingly ugly it is. And yet we are told that it is beautiful, and generations of architects have internalized the fact that it's a good-looking building. But it's obvious it's ugly. Right? You go and in fact look at SPA building.
Yeah.
Right, in Delhi. It's where all the architects are trained. I mean, literally you cannot imagine a more ugly building.
Correct.
And yet, nobody in SPA has thought of tearing it down and rebuilding it. They're lecturing everybody else to do it. Why? Because there's no pride in what you're doing. Some Gora has said this is good looking, okay.